Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. This is Vanik Sleep here, and today we're gonna react to this video. How different are our inner monologues? A video made by Voted Thoughts. Honestly, how different are inner monologues? It depends how you think, in my personal opinion. It depends how you think. It's a very psychological thing, you know. Everyone is different. Everyone has their own thoughts. Everyone has different volumes in their head too. So let's say I could be louder. So somebody could be having an inner monologue that would be like screaming or something maybe. I mean, it's in my personal opinion. I didn't really study psychology. What am I saying? Psychology or like philosophy, but I did do one psychology class, and well, it's more a psychology class for my degree that I'm studying in, and I did a couple of philosophy classes, so it makes my critical thinking a bit different. So, but I'm not a philosopher nor a psychologist, so take my word as a grain of salt. But inner monologues are just a tiny voice that speaks in your head, or when you speak to yourself, sometimes could be also a inner monologue, but it's more specifically in your head when you speak to yourself and you talk about something, you know, inside your head, and you're like talking to yourself. That's an inner monologue. So uh, I think everyone has different monologue depending on how stable you are in I mean mentally. So yeah. Uh, Honestly, I don't even know what this video is going to be talking about. So, we're going to have to watch it and we're going to find out. Let's get into it.
About 47% of waking hours are spent thinking about what isn't going on, meaning, for almost half of your existence, you're living in your own mind, and that's not great, since it could be the reason you feel down a lot of the time. Your mind generates somewhere between 6,000 to 60,000 thoughts a day, tiny flashes, fragments, and impulses, most of which appear and disappear without you ever noticing. But inside that private space, only about 1 to 2/5 of your thoughts show up as words, or as an internal conversation, or a narration you hear. The rest is just a mix of images, audio cues.
I mean, depends. I heard a study that it depends. There's some people that have an inner monologue, some people that don't. People that don't, okay, let's not say it in a weird way, right? And I cannot, like I said, take my word as a grain of salt. But if you don't have an inner monologue, you might have some problems. Potentially. I'm not saying that you have. I'm saying there's a probability that you might have problems. But if you're capable to live a normal life with it, I mean, sure, I guess. Me personally, I talk a lot to myself. So I do kind of have an inner monologue. I have a lot most of the time, and I speak to myself and I think a lot. So yeah, I do have an inner monologue. So, but yeah, but I don't know if it's actually true. What number did it say? Did he say?
Conversation, or a narration you hear. The rest show up as words.
One at five or two and a half. Okay, yeah, yeah. Not all the time, but 1/5, 2/5 of the time. Yeah, might be a monologue. Sometimes it could be 3/5 of the time. Depends.
Or as an internal conversation, or a narration you hear. The rest is just a mix of images, audio cues, flashes of memory, feelings, gut pulls, and half-formed ideas that you understand without ever saying them. And that's assuming you're even in the 30 to 50% of people who report having an inner voice at all. Granted,
Yeah, exactly.
most of these numbers are self-reported, since we're yet to find a perfect scientific way to measure qualia, or someone's private experience. Still,
Sorry.
it's safe to say, inner monologues and the many ways people think are far too strange, too diverse, and too fascinating to not talk about. And yet, we all just assume everyone else's inner world works like ours. It doesn't, at all. Because there isn't one default setting for thinking. There are 5 entirely different ways that people can think. Some people,
Like I said, people have their own thoughts, own ideas, own ways, and the factors are mostly the way you were educated, the environment you had, the friends you had, social life, the games you played, things you read. So everything affects the way you think and the way your inner monologue works.
About 40% have internal voices, which are like constant dialogues or conversations going on with themselves in their head. They talk to themselves, argue with themselves, rehearse conversations they might never have, and for
Okay, I don't really argue with myself, but yeah, I do talk to myself a lot.
them,
Not in a crazy way, of course. Just, inner monologue. Let's say I'm doing something, explaining to myself. It's also mostly a thing that I've been training for, like the streaming thing. So, it's also a factor.
silence isn't real silence. It's just the moment that voice speaks. So if they'd lost their keys and they go looking for them, their mind goes, did I leave them on the table? Maybe in my jacket? Maybe I dropped them in the car? That kind of inner speech shows up in about 20 to 30% of thoughts on average. The variation is wild. Some people use it more than 70% of the time, others almost never do. Then, around 50% of people are visual thinkers. These people don't talk to themselves. They mostly see things. Meaning instead of saying, where are my keys?
Okay. Oh, okay. Before he says, how can you think with your eyes? Maybe photo memory?
They get a mental snap
Like, I don't know. It's like impossible that you're not thinking. If you're not thinking, you're just a zombie. And I don't think it's possible.
snapshot of the last place they remember having them, without any words associated.
Yeah, but that's like more of a photo memory. I wouldn't say it's like a monologue. I think more it's like an inner thought or something like that.
Maybe even picture their keys in each place they think of looking into.
And I think a lot of people do that actually. Just like, yeah, true. I left it there by remembering where you left it the last time.
Other people, or about 20%, only think in feelings, so their thoughts are more like emotional responses. Their thoughts show up as emotional pulls, moods, or body level sensations. Looking for keys becomes a tiny jolt of panic, then a feeling that points them toward the bedroom or toward their bag.
Okay, that's actually weird to be honest. Okay, no, okay, let me take it back. It's not weird. It's just even myself, since I don't have these kind of things. Actually, no. No, actually, I'm sorry, I'm yawning so much. I'm getting tired here. Actually, no, I'll take it back. I do have like emotional feeling of remembering, right? A feeling thought, like he explained. Um, but it's more like a nostalgic thing for me, or like a defensive mechanism. So let's say fear, let's say if I had fear, I would be trying to like stay away from it. Let's say it's a spot, right? Let's say it's a specific location. I would try to stay away from it because I know fear, you know. But I don't know, like his example, remembering keys. I don't know. Okay, maybe if you stress a lot, maybe you can actually remember that. Oh my god, I stressed, and I remember where I left my keys because I stress every time, and my keys are here. It would be more like a repetition, but just like that, just from stress, remembering where things are. I don't know.
Their emotions
Hard to believe.
guide the search before their mind explains it. Another 20% of people say it's common for their thoughts to be more like senses. This means when they try to remember their keys, they might mentally feel the motion of putting them in a coat pocket.
Oh, and by the way, we're talking about like inner monologues and like thoughts, thinking with like visual thinking. I can see that, but like it doesn't make sense. Like visual thinking, emotional thinking, and like feeling thinking. I think it's weird. There's no such thing. I think maybe he tries to explain that this correlates to this moment of thought. But if he's just saying that you don't have an inner monologue and you don't think and just have this, like, it would be weird.
Or remember the sound of them hitting a surface. Lastly, and maybe the most misunderstood group, which is surprisingly not that small, are the ones that have no audio or visual association with their thoughts whatsoever.
That's impossible. Like, me personally might take it impossible. You having nothing, like just silence. You're a zombie. I don't remember this philosophical. What is it called again? It's a philosophical term. Oh my god, I don't remember. What is it called? Philosophy. Zombie. Philosophical zombie. Yeah, philosophical zombie. Or P zombie is a hypothetical being in philosophy of a mind of molecule for a molecule identical to a normal human, but completely lacks of conscious experience, inner life, or qualia. It behaves and reacts exactly like a conscious person, even discussing its own non-existing feelings. So you're just a zombie straight up. If you have no thoughts, no feelings, you're a zombie. You're like, it would be, I don't know. I can't believe it. I think maybe the percentage would be probably maybe sick people. Sick people, okay, I would believe that. But a normal person, let's say walking down the streets, you're a zombie. You're not real. I don't know. I might be wrong for what I'm saying, but if you're not thinking, you're not real. You're a zombie.
These are people who report not
And like philosophy says, it's a hypothetical. It's a hypothetical thing. So like, I don't think it's real, but if it's actually real, I'm sorry. Like, I don't know how you work, but I guess you're just a machine or zombie.
experiencing any kind of inner thoughts the way the rest of us do. Now you might have noticed that these percentages don't quite add up to an exact 100. That's firstly because this is still a self-reported topic, meaning the values shouldn't be taken as exact, but also because most people are a blend of more than one style. You could talk to yourself internally and still visualize things clearly. You could think mostly in concepts, but get emotional signals when something demands it. The mind isn't locked into one format. It's fluid, layered, inconsistent.
Yeah, that's what I was explaining like literally a couple minutes ago, that I don't think we work necessarily only on one thing. Like, you cannot be one specific thing. It would be a combination of most, but probably one of these functions are more like stronger than the other ones. Let's say I have a better photo memory, so visual memory, than let's say feeling memory, emotional memory, or like general memory. It's more visual. I can visualize things and I remember how it looks. But I mean, in general, not perfectly, but in general, it's I have a pretty good like photo memory. But the other ones are way weaker.
In the most human way. And even within one category, people exist on different levels. A verbal thinker could have full discussions with themselves, sometimes even say stuff out loud, while another hears just fragments.
Okay, I mean, does like me practicing, because when I was younger, I used to practice to talk to myself, to be a content creator at some point, or like a streamer. Does it count as a inner monologue and talking to myself? Like, yes, look, me talking to myself, yes, okay, but is it counts as an inner monologue? I mean, yeah, technically, because I technically like speak the thoughts that I'm having. So I guess you could say it's an inner monologue.
Of phrases. A visual thinker might on different levels. A verbal thinker could have full discussions with themselves, sometimes even say stuff out loud, while another hears just fragments of phrases. A visual thinker might see crisp, detailed scenes, while someone else only gets faint silhouettes. A well-known example of this difference is something called the apple test. If I ask you to close your eyes and picture an apple and then describe what you saw in a comment, you'll notice the results scatter everywhere. Some of you will see it like it's physically there, with perfect textures, shadows and highlights. Some could even rotate it, move it around. Some wouldn't even need to close their eyes. They could do it that easily. Others would get a dim impression, like a low-resolution image. Some only see the word apple, or the idea of one, with no picture at all. And a small portion of people, or apparently zero.
I think me, I do see an apple, and I could change colors of it. But I think it's more like a 2D picture of an apple with different colors that I've seen, you know. And I could see it like from all sides technically. Like, yeah, like I could almost see the perfect apple in my head. Probably the tastiest that I've ate.
0.8% of you will see absolutely nothing, a complete.
You're a zombie. You're a zombie. If you cannot see anything, you're a fucking zombie. Or you've never seen an apple in your life. I don't know.
Absence of imagery, and that's aphantasia, or the inability to form mental images. And what's crazy is that people with aphantasia often don't realise they're different until their 20s or 30s. They hear people say, "Picture this," and think it's just a figure of speech. When they find out other people actually see images, their whole...
Bro, how? How? And how do you realize it at 20? 20? So seriously, you never thought about it. Let's say from the age of 10 to 20, you never thought about like people saying like, "Yo, imagine this." But like you cannot imagine it because you don't have imagination. You don't have pictures in your head. Are you serious?
understanding of reality shifts. Temple Grandin, the famous animal scientist with autism, is on the opposite end. She's a hyperphantasic visual thinker, meaning she's able to have exceptionally vivid mental imagery to the point where it can seem as real as actual sight. She said trying to understand word-based thinkers feels like trying to understand aliens. This is why communication is harder than we think. You might describe something with words, but the person listening might think in pictures. You might give someone directions verbally while their brain wants a map. Teachers explain concepts linearly, while some students only understand them spatially. We think we're speaking the same language, but sometimes we're not even using the same operating system. And the differences don't stop at how we think. It shows in all the weird little things we always could do without really noticing, although they're kind of insane if you think about them, like how almost 80% of us can replay music internally almost perfectly, and how few of us could even hear it so vivid that it's nearly indistinguishable from actual sound.
Okay, are we talking about a full song or like a short moment of a song? Because I don't think I could remember multiple songs like on the same time, you know? Okay, not on the same time, but like in general, I cannot remember most words of a song. When it plays, yeah, I can remember, you know, and almost time myself perfectly, but like just like that, sing a full song like karaoke, impossible.
The thing is how you can talk to yourself in your head in voices you can't
I know the rhythm though. I know the rhythm. I remember that, but not the words.
even do in real life. Every pitch, no matter how deep or high, accents or tones, are all almost natural to do inside. You could probably even perfectly mimic every person and character you could think of, even if it's a voice you physically can't produce. It feels like voice acting if you had no limits to what you can do. And this is something over half of us experience. Some people can also feel sensations just by thinking about them. If they think about cold metal, they get a tiny chill on their fingertips. If they imagine running their hand along velvet, they get a faint texture sensation. If they see pain, they often can't stand looking because to some level...
Oh, you know that material that you touch? Like, oh my god, I'm getting goosebumps from it. I don't like it. It's like a gag reflex for me. There's like, oh, like I think my table, my table mat, if I start scratching it with my nails, oh my god, I'm getting goosebumps all over my fucking body. If I scratch it with my nails, I'm gonna get hard goosebumps. Like I don't like that feeling. I don't like the sound. Yeah, oh my god. I'm getting through my legs. I don't know what's the problem with me.
They feel it
It's just, it's there.
too. This shows up in around 15% of people, and interestingly, Those who report this kind of sensory imagination tend to score higher on measures of effective empathy, the kind of empathy that lets you feel what others feel.
I was saying that because, like, the moment I think of it, I can start feeling goosebumps about it. That's the freaky part.
And if your mind still isn't impressing you enough, you could even train it to use something called the loci method, or a memory palace. It's basically turning information into a route you walk through in your head. You take a place you already know, like the layout of your apartment, and you assign each object or corner to a piece of information you want to remember. It's the standard tool used by competitive memory athletes, not because they're born different, but because this one technique works insanely well. In studies where regular people are taught the method, their recall often jumps to several times higher than before, sometimes 5 to 10 times the amount they could remember with repetition alone. And even though it's that effective, barely anyone uses it. And this is why people with visual thinking are usually better at memorizing, sometimes even having photographic memory, although some consider it a myth. That doesn't mean people with strong inner voices are any less fascinating. They usually have an
I have a photographic-ish memory. It's not perfect. I cannot like do this picture and just remember it. I just the way I see it, I remember how it looks. So right now, if I look around and I leave my room, I could name almost every single things by just remembering them through visual. In fact, I am very good at memorizing. Let's say if you go to let's say you started school, right? You go to another school, you got transferred, and you have to learn, and the school is big, right? And you want to learn all the paths, all the shortcuts through the school. Me, it will take, honestly, if I walk a couple times through the school, I will remember it just by visualizing it. And by walking, I create this little map with, my eyes analyze it, and I remember this little map. And I remember it pretty well. Like, that's how I learned all my shortcuts in my college, because I was walking through it and I know most of my shortcuts now. And some people that are, let's say, the same year as me in college, they don't know any shortcuts throughout this whole college. And it's crazy. For me, it's crazy.
edge when it comes to planning, problem solving, and rehearsing, since they silently talk all the time. But that same skill makes them more prone to looping thoughts. And proof is, overthinking shows up more often in people who rely heavily on verbal thinking. And all of this goes to show how the way you experience consciousness, a particular mix of voices, images, feelings, and silence in your head, is completely unique to you. Nobody will ever know what your mind actually looks or sounds or feels like, and you'll never truly know theirs.
Oh, no, for sure. Nobody understands you, nobody understands, and you won't understand nobody. You might have the same experience, but the way you like accept the information and intake the information, that's personal for each person. And it's crazy. And sometimes you cannot even explain it.
You can describe it, you can approximate, but the lived experience is forever yours alone, because every person you meet is in a way living in a completely different universe than you. Their internal reality is fundamentally different from yours. The only life you truly live isn't the one people see from the outside, it's the one inside your head, and it's really humbling to notice that everyone passing you in the street every day has a whole life going on, as special and full as yours. But that's a topic for another video.
Amazing video. Amazing. We might watch some other videos from him. Very amazing video. Both of you. Both of you too, something that I think it's all in your head. Yeah, well, I live there, so should go to those that rehearse old conversations to ourselves in shower and powder. Yeah, yeah, happens. My internal monologue abuses me. Alright. If my internal monologue was a real person, I would report it for harassment, bullying, and psychological manipulation. Like, sometimes I think these people are not even serious, but I'm sure they're more than serious. That's the funny part. Because like he explained and I said it, each person has their own inner monologue. So you could literally be crazy and you would be people would think you would say it as a joke, but in reality, it would actually be you going crazy, you know? So, yeah, I'm not judging. I'm not judging. Funny though, very funny. We might watch more videos of Avoided Thoughts. He does very good videos, honestly. I'm gonna find some other ones we might do next week. Some more reactions. So yeah, we're gonna do another stream tomorrow, of course. More gameplays as usual. You know the usual thing. Valorant. We're gonna play some Mouse BI for hire, and I might do another reaction video maybe, unless I change my mind tomorrow. So yeah, I think that's gonna be it for tonight. Thank you everyone for joining my stream. I hope everybody enjoyed the videos, enjoyed my gameplays. Everybody relaxed. I hope everybody is happy. And good night, good morning, good afternoon. I hope everybody enjoys their rest of the day. So thank you everyone. Thank you for watching. See you all in the next one.